A couple weeks past when talking about snarky romance characters, I mentioned Oreki from Hyouka. Today I want to expand on why he in particular is a close case to my heart. I've never put much effort into anything. It feels like even the things I care about most, I can't make myself try hard to do or complete at some sort of high proficiency, so to speak. Even something like YouTube, which I have made fully edited, scripted videos for the last 6 months, is something that I still feel like I tend to take my time with and do so as I please. And I don't mean that in a positive way. I have a schedule, for example. Monday, script. Tuesday, record and edit audio. Wednesday is a buffer day to catch up, just in case I missed things, or if it's a longer video, then I'll start video editing that day. Thursday is all video editing, and Friday is posting. Seems like the schedule of someone who's got it all together and is putting a lot of effort and working hard, but it doesn't feel like I'm doing that. It feels like the reason I'm doing this, which I think is pretty reasonable, is to minimize the amount of time in my schedule that gets soaked up, to allow for leniency, so if a test or paper pops up, I can work around it without harming my studies too much. Simple resource management, except a lot of weeks I follow this basic schedule I set for myself very poorly. Instead of living most efficiently, I don't feel like editing the audio or video, so I'll put it off, and then I will get excited Thursday night, pull an all-nighter, finishing the editing. Sorta like last week's video. All of this is done due to my own avoidance to do things that I don't want to do, or to do things that I think will take too much effort or time, or energy. Which makes me wish perhaps I had more discipline. The YouTube example could be pointed out to not be exactly a good example of me being lazy, since it's something that's optional in the first case. Sure, I want it to be a reliable source of income and want to do something with it that's more than a hobby someday, but technically right now it is still kind of a hobby. It's not something like school. But with that, let's take a look at school. I rarely have ever studied in my life. In high school, when I was more religious, I carried with me this sort of life will go however it goes mentality, and that whatever way things are meant to happen, will happen that way. But I think I took something a lot more seriously than most people who say, everything happens for a reason, because I legitimately thought and acted out that if God had a plan, and I prayed for him to guide me, that life would sort of just blow me wherever and whenever, regardless of what I may do. That mindset sort of robbed me of my agency. It made me think, you know what, I'll have a fulfilling life that God has directed, and all I have to do is just pray for guidance and let it happen. So I wouldn't study for tests. Instead, I would just pray that things be however God willed it. I almost always got good grades and took this as God wanting me to succeed. And so it wasn't that I naturally picked up the material, but that he was opening doors. I sort of thought also that this mentality was honorable, as it was a interestingly strong display of faith. Unfortunately though, looking back, I think I had mainly psyched myself out. Soon after, still in high school, my religious beliefs stopped, and how did I change? I didn't think that everything happened for a reason anymore, and there were things that I enjoyed in life. So did I start working harder toward my aims? Logically the answer is yes, but pragmatically, my actions didn't follow. I just began to take everything less seriously. Not that I went off the rails or anything, I just kept with me my already loose disposition and became less strict on rules. I did care for what happened in my life, I was just not willing to take a risk that had the possibility in my mind of leaving me out to dry. Oreki and the friend group in Hyouka mirrors and brings me back to many different points in my high school experience, where I did as little effort as I could for as much reward. Now to be clear, I was never manipulative or backhanded, I just did what I liked and what others seemed to be happy with and hoped that everything would follow suit, rarely pushing myself. That's why Chitanda is so miraculous to me. Her role in the story is the ultimate saving grace for an Oreki-type character. She doesn't forcibly push or shove, but softly coerces Oreki into looking at the beauty all around him, and how easy it is to grasp if he just puts down the book. Or guitar. For me, in high school, I enjoyed guitar and writing songs for the fun of it. I never tried to make a hit song or to do anything except work through my negative emotions and enjoy playing. But after meeting a friend at the start of my junior year, he ended up pushing me to perform live and to make a band. Sure, some random friend I met in junior year of high school isn't quite as glamorous or attractive as to someone like the beautiful Chitanda. I definitely wish the person pushing me was a earnest, pretty girl, but He took interest in my music, and we liked playing together. Soon, he found and recruited a bassist and second guitarist pretty much completely on his own. I had done virtually nothing but say, "Sure, I'll let you play with me," and now I'm the lead singer in a 4-piece band. Our junior and senior year, we were the first rock band that our district had seen in a couple decades, maybe even more. That being said, even though I liked the idea of playing big shows, I never went through with it. I never made the effort to get us a real gig. So while we did play small shows in backyards and different mini concerts, we never played paid shows, really. Or if we were paid, then it was by somebody hiring us out to play there. While we did eventually do some real gigs, it was once again by pure chance. Somebody already in the music scene was reaching out and wanting me to play and show my music to others, because they saw the opportunity in it, and they thought that it would help. Even if it's for small mysteries, even if they are in terms of plot that don't mean anything, the routes of inquiry Oreki is sent on in Hyouka are sure to be special memories as his life continues. A perpetual energy conservationalist, taking life as it is given and not putting your money in the pot may allow you more time to smell the flowers, but it will never take you to the top of the mountains. I think this is a heart-wrenching fact that underlines Hyouka and inspires its beauty. Here's something that I think really woke me up to this before I went to college. There were 3 girls I had always had sort of crushes on and imagined being with, but I thought our interests and personalities would be too much effort to navigate, so I was content with keeping it in my head. At the beginning of the summer of my departure, I, by different strings of consequences, found out that the same periods of time that I liked them, they all happened to have liked me. That a couple were even waiting for me to make a move, but I never did. That they were dropping hints and flirting with me, because obviously they wanted to take things further, but I managed that it would be too much effort. It isn't worth challenging the friendship. It isn't worth taking the time to clarify myself. Not because it isn't worthwhile entirely, but because I'm already content flirting and not making solid moves. That doing that would be too much effort and too much energy when I'm already fine how I am. Needless to say, these discoveries made me feel really stupid, as they should have. A little energy, a little effort could have drastically changed different parts of my life. In the case of one girl, she came over for a 4th of July party that my parents and I were having, and she stayed in my room until 6 a.m. While she was in my room, she had finally confessed to me that she had liked me for all the time that I had liked her. Now, I want you to imagine what a horny 17-year-old boy and the girl he liked on and off for 6 years were probably doing in that room. And if you assumed what would be most obvious, you would be wrong. Literally just talking. Not even close to each other, not even really flirting with each other that much. I was in one seat at one end of the room and she was at the other. After confessing, she had even told me that she could be happy just to date me for the remaining month I was there and then break up after the summer ended because I had to leave for school. She said she would be happy, and I know that I would be, at least for that month, but I couldn't do it. I didn't want to ruin it. It was something that I had always thought about for years and years and years, but always thought it was out of my grasp. I found out it wasn't out of my grasp. It was like she was going out of her way to give me what I wanted. And I rejected it. I didn't want to ruin it, but my inaction did. And it left me with the regret that I had to reconcile. There are a lot deeper issues as to my resistance, but a big one, no doubt, was that it was too much effort. That regret made me realize that even if I try to live in a gray world like Oreki does, and as he describes, the world is full of color, and I shouldn't needlessly blind myself to it. Conserving energy doesn't matter in the long term, because I will still just lose all that I have saved. Conserving your energy may better let you smell the flowers, but you will never get to the top of the mountains, even if you are incredibly lucky. So I am trying to be more proactive agent in my own life, and I beg that you be too. Even while Oreki fits me, and so comfortably is relatable to me, he too, I think, understands the brief wonder in pursuing something for the sake of it. Am I still passive as I used to be? I'd like to think that I'm not. But then again, it would take too much energy to know for certain. I'd like to give a special thank you to the Single Way Out, the rest of my patrons, and to you, who came to the end of this video. I hope that everyone enjoyed the video and that they had a good Halloween, and I'll see you guys next week.